Greetings and welcome back to episode 2 of Exo Plays Spyro 2 on the Sony PlayStation. Last time we met, we ended up in the magical world of Avalar, through the gateway to Glimmer, as it were, and the malicious Ripto has taken over, or is being a troublemaker, some shit.
By concentrating, I should be able to open this door for you.
I love the brother's little chant. It's cute. Like I said, or I was getting at, the world of Avalar is a lot more interesting than the Dragon Realms were, just in terms of the variety of creatures you can find in it, and you know how all the NPCs aren't just dragons and stuff, so you got a lot more. It's a lot more visually distinct and memorable, these levels. It's not like Spyro 1 where it's just like Beast Makers was the swamp world and Artisans was the green plains world and Peacekeepers was the desert world. Every single level in this game is distinct.
Who needs a key when you know how to chant like this?
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the majesty that is Brother Clive. Brother Clive.
How am I supposed to achieve enlightenment if you keep pestering me?
Yeah, Brother Clive, he's kind of a celebrity in these parts.
Enemies like those yaks are too big to be charged. Your flame attack should easily take care of large enemies.
Yeah, teaching us a bunch of stuff that you'd already know if you've played the first games. A bunch of gems down here, don't miss them. This will be a full completion run of this game, by the way. And that will include skill points, actually. I've actually never gotten skill points in this game before. I did my practice playthrough.
Each time you defeat an enemy, it will release a spirit particle. The spirit particles will activate the power-up in that world. If a power-up is inactive, you need to defeat more enemies.
As you can see, we need to kill 11 enemies in total in order to activate. As you can see, we just got another spirit particle. We got up to 6, now we're at 7, so we gotta kill a few more enemies and then that will open up for us and we can do with that what we will. And it's honestly, I find this system kind of annoying, personally. Because, like, they need to give you some kind of incentive to defeat enemies. But I thought enemies dropping gems was fine. I thought enemies dropping gems was a perfectly serviceable incentive to defeat enemies because, you know, if you're getting 100%, you gotta go do that. But for some reason, for Spyro 2, they decided to change it to spirit particles and make it activate the power-up gates, which is kind of a baffling choice in a game that has forced backtracking in it. I don't know. We'll talk more about that later.
Remember Hunter's advice? You will glide farthest if you press the X button at the very top of your jump.
And I am aware that Spyro 3 also has some backtracking stuff in it as well, but in my personal opinion, it was handled better than this game. I think most of us can agree with that. Yeah, so basically, as you've probably picked up, the structure of Spyro 3, or I'm sorry, Spyro 2, that is the game you're playing after all, is that there are 3 main collectibles to get. There are gems, talismans, and orbs. Yeah, that's it. Just like the first game, there are 3 collectibles to go after.
Even though I'm a vegetarian, I think you should kill that Yeti. He's pretty tough, though. In fact, I'm not so sure you're up to it.
Boss time! This Yeti looks pretty menacing, huh? Bet it could make a fun little boss fight for one of the first levels, huh? Or we could just do that.
I thought the Yeti was tougher than that. I guess he was all bark. Anyway, I was just guarding our sacred talisman to make sure the Yeti didn't eat it.
Alright, so we just got our talisman for this level. So basically, that's kind of the structure of Spyro 2, and I can finally get into this, is that basically, in order to reach the boss of each of the realms, you know, the home worlds of Avalar, you need to collect all the talismans from all the levels in that home world. So basically, there will be some kind of story set up in every world. Like in this world, there was an evil Yeti who was harassing the monks here at the Colossus temple, and Spyro needs to defeat them in order to... Oh boy, do I want to play this yet? Spyro has to basically fulfill that story, and then when he does, he gets the talisman. And then the talismans let him open up the boss fight in the homeworld, and then everything goes from there.
Ah, Spyro! Spyro, welcome! We have found that hockey is a peaceful and calming sport. Would you like to join in a match against our goalkeeper? You have 2 minutes to score 5 goals in the red goal.
So, this now seems like as good a time as any to get into the mini games. Basically, and that pretty much relates to the orbs as well. So, the orbs are a secondary collectible, which actually become very important kind of the third act of the game, actually. Essentially, they become the main collectible. But essentially, in order to get orbs, in the home world, usually you'll just find them lying around after doing like a little platforming challenge or something. But in this game, that's not how it works. Or I'm sorry, in the main stages rather is what I'm trying to get at. Ooh, I just barely missed that. In the main stages, it usually boils down to some kind of side quest or mini game you gotta play. And you know, I was basically my stance in Spyro 1, which did not really have any mini games or side quests at all. It was very much a very straightforward collectathon, like the collectathon man's collectathon. The focus was on collecting stuff, and beyond the flight levels, there really wasn't much in the way of like alternate gameplay styles or side quests or anything like that. Spyro 2 definitely has more variety in that sense. There are a lot of different things you can play around with, and there is a trick to doing this right, by the way. I'm just playing like shite. And I don't know, with 2 minutes on the clock in total, might end up having to redo this, which would be not good. It would be not good, as the professor would say. Not the professor from this game, a different professor. Professor von Cripplespack is his name. Would you grab it, for Christ's sake? Oy vey. So I guess you could shoot it from all the way over there. Like, my strategy has always been to get kind of close in the side and then shoot it from an angle so it goes past the goalie, but I guess you can get away from shooting it farther away. My problem with this minigame, which is one of the worst ones in the game, by the way, I've just gotta say, it's not terrible,
Well done! Have this!
and I guess that's all Brother Kip has to say about that. He's not as big a celebrity around here as Brother Clive, fortunately.
Would you like to try a game of one-on-one? The first to score 5 goals wins. You are shooting at the red goal. Off you go.
So, this is actually where one of the first skill points in the game comes into play. Skill points are kind of something, they're meant to be for like after you've already beaten the game and stuff like that, so that you can, you know, do with that what you will. But, come here, you son of a bitch. Ooh. Alright, he might end up scoring on me, and that would suck, so... I gotta say that ice physics really suck in this game. I hate the Spyro ice physics. I don't know what went wrong here, but it feels like they were designed only for the D-pad controls or something, because they just feel really awkward and annoying to play with. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like this minigame all that much, is because the controls feel clunky. So thankfully, because we are a dragon, we can flame the other hockey player here to get him off our backs, and he will help guard the goal. So we got 1 goal in already. And that's where my strategy of kind of going around becomes a lot more relevant, because since we have the other player guarding the goal, you kind of have to make a skill shot to get it in the goal. Or I almost got away with that. That would have been interesting. Okay. Get off me, asshole. Where'd the fucking puck go? Now I can't see what's going on. And I'm really not a fan of the camera angle they chose for this. This feels like it would play so much better with like a top-down camera or something. Or, you know, like where you can view the whole field at once and control Spyro with the analog stick that way. So that way you can always see where the other player is, and you can always see where the puck is. But for some reason they decided to go with this over-the-shoulder view, which is, I imagine that they did that for the D-pad control, since not everyone had a DualShock back when this game came out. But yeah, I mean, I'm making it look easy right now because I've played this game many times, and I had to practice up for the skill point as well, which makes it even easier for me. And this guy's gonna get a goal on me, so skill point gone. Skill point for this is to basically beat this hockey minigame without letting the other guy get any points in, which is harder than it sounds, and like most of the skill points, it becomes easier after you've beaten the final boss, because you get a thing after you beat the final boss, or soon after you defeat the final boss, rather. And unfortunately, there's no way to like quit this minigame and start over if you fuck up, so you either have to lose or win in order to restart it, which is also a big pain in the butt. I mean, it's definitely possible to get all 5 in without the goalie scoring one, but it's tricky.
Well done! Have this! If you stare at it long enough, you might not see anything.
I guess that was supposed to be like a Taoist sort of proverb or something, but they're kind of subverting that. Anyways, let's try again. So we'll jump back in and give it another whirl. Or is it gonna let me do that, or not? So I guess I have to leave the level and come back just to try again. We'll come back for that skill point, because I don't want to waste my time with that right now. It's not the worst minigame in the world or anything, but I do think it's... Like, I don't understand why boxing is the worst thing ever, but the hockey minigame is okay. I feel like they're about on the same level, personally. Maybe the boxing is, like, slightly worse. I don't know, but that's a conversation for later. We have some more stuff to grab up here, and there's one more side quest we can do before leaving the stage, but let's grab the gems real quick. You know, in terms of... Much like with Spyro 1, one of the reasons I really enjoy this game, and Spyro 3 as well, is, you know, just how, even though this game has more mini-games and stuff like that, the fast-paced Spyro gameplay, the things that I found made the game so appealing to begin with, first game, still pretty much here and accounted for, added variety in mini-games and side quests aside.
Oh, thank goodness you scared that evil spirit away. But now it will hide in the statues. If you were to flame all 10 statues, I'm sure you would chase it away for good.
So that's our second minigame. There's a bunch of statues around the level, and every time you flame one, the evil spirit will escape from it. And after you get all the statues, then the evil spirit will go away forever. And that's basically what we're doing. And if I can give credit where it's deserved in terms of how the minigames are designed and, what you're doing with them, most of it is focused around central mechanics in the game. Like, here, we're basically just exploring the level to find a thing and then flame it. That's basically what the minigame is. So, it's not too bad, in my opinion, most of these minigames. It's not like some other collectathons where it goes so far off in some kind of weird direction, like... Spyro 5 has a bunch of turret sections in it, and it also has, I don't know. That's all I'm saying. Alright, hold up, folks. I gotta check in on something real quick. Alright, everyone, the meme man is back in town. I had to go do some shite off screen, basically. Personal stuff, doesn't really matter to you guys. But as you can see, we have collected enough spirit orbs, and that has activated the super jump power-up gate. I don't know, I guess Zoe doesn't really tell us that that's what it's called, but... You know, it's a little spring, pushes you up. Not a very interesting power-up. Basically all it does is I don't know, I guess functionally it's the same as a power-up, because it lets you go to new areas of the stage, but... And it also acts as like sorry, a little winded. It also acts as... I don't know. You get the idea. That's what it does. It lets you to bounce up here. But in terms of actually being an interesting power-up, like the supercharge or the super flame, which actually have some, you know, mechanical depth to them, super bounce isn't very interesting. Unfortunately, that's kind of the last of the power-ups in the game. We do have a few more of these statues to get. I'm pretty sure there's one down here. Yeah, there it is. And we'll figure out what to do about that skill point later. I might just come back after the final boss just because it's easier. I'm gonna be doing that for a few of them, and that, yes, that is a cop-out, and no, I don't care. Reason being that a couple of the skill points in this game are kind of impossible.
Well done, Spyro! You've scared the evil spirit away! Why don't you take this? I borrowed it from the temple. They don't need it.
Oh, the Professor's a thief. By the way, both the Professor and Spyro are voiced by SpongeBob. Tom Kenny is his name, that's the voice actor. And we have completed Colossus, that's everything except the skill point, so we're gonna go head for the hills real quick. And much like the first game, you can either leave through the menu or through the portal. Yeah, just some more casual murder for this children's game. Ain't nothing to pay attention to. So... yeah. That's our first level fully completed, and now, thankfully, thanks to the gems we collect in that level, we have more than enough to purchase the swim upgrade, and finally do stuff that should have been available right from the start of the game.
Hello there, Spyro. Would you like to learn to swim underwater? I suppose I could teach you for, a small fee? Great! Okay, when you jump in the water, you can use the D-pad to move around the surface, use square to dive underwater. When you are underwater, use X to paddle and square to charge.
So, Spyro series has some of the best 3D swimming control I've ever seen, and it's so simple and beautiful in execution. All you do is hold down the charge button and move around with the stick, and it's that simple. Even works pretty well with the D-pad, actually. Obviously, you're not getting as tight a control with the D-pad as you would with the... with the analog stick is better, is the point. Now that we have that, we can actually go back and grab a few things, which is... when it comes to collectathons, I'm very much in the mindset of I'd very much like to just open up a level and get everything in one go. That's my preference. Spyro 1 did that flawlessly, or basically, you know, that's just how it worked. Banjo-Kazooie 1 did that the same way. Like, when I said Banjo-Kazooie earlier as an example, I actually meant just Banjo-Tooie does that. Ukulele has some of that in there as well. Where, you know, basically you need a move or some kind of upgrade or something in order to grab something in a level. Works really well for Metroidvania, but not in a collectathon, in my opinion. I very much prefer the tightly paced, you go through the level and you get everything in one go sort of approach. And, yeah, Spyro 2 does not do that. I should clarify that I really enjoy this game, just so that there's no confusion on that point. But there are some design choices that I do find kind of questionable, and because I am a reviewer by nature, I am going to point them out, even in my playthrough. Now that we have the ability to swim, we can go to Idle Springs, where the ability to swim is relevant, for reasons you'll see in just a minute. Yeah.
Spyro, the idols we were carving have come to life! They've locked us out of our temples and stolen our food!
So, yeah, that's the setup for this level. We have some bunch of evil tikis that are causing all sorts of havoc. And yeah, basically we gotta go get rid of them, and that's our talisman mission. But as always, we have orbs, we have gems, so we're gonna be collecting those along the way as well. And certainly this level is very visually distinct from the last one, and from anything in Spyro 1 for that matter, so... yeah, we're pretty much all set there. And, you know, right off the bat, we need to swim to get to one of the orbs and to get all of these gems down here. So, if you played this level first before you unlocked the swimming ability from Moneybags, you'd have to come back to this level. So that's why I decided to go to Colossus first. That's an easy workaround for that little bit of backtracking, but thankfully, but, you know, still... I don't really know why it is that we needed that to be something you had to unlock.
I've been locked in here with all our tools, and the giant idleheads won't let the workers in unless we can solve the 3 puzzles they've given us. The first puzzle is to turn all these blocks yellow. If you have trouble, come back and talk to me.
Basically, he'll reset them if you fuck up. So, yeah. So here's what we're gonna do. It's some dang old Sonic adventuring up in here. Let's see. Let's see if I can remember how to do this right. Oh god. Like I said, it's just like that little puzzle you do in Sonic Adventure 1 to get into the final egg.
Wow, Spyro, you did it! I mean, I knew you could do it. Now, meet me at the pond for the next challenge.
I swear usually I do that much faster, and I did do a practice playthrough. So I don't know what went wrong there, why it took me so long. That is not a difficult puzzle. If you're not an incompetent asshat like me, you should do it fairly quickly. But I don't know, who knows? Maybe I just had a bad draw. Maybe I'm just not, my luck isn't here. Maybe the LP curse is in full effect. Here we have our second minigame
This
here.
idol says he's hungry and won't be satisfied until he's swallowed 10 fish. He's got a sensitive stomach, so watch what kind of fish you feed him.
So basically what he means is don't feed him the red fish. So you flame him into his mouth. And once again, this is very much just like a little timing puzzle, and we're using our central mechanics, so I don't think that anything about this minigame or the last minigame we played is really like going too far outside of the boundaries of what Spyro can do, just in terms of his base moveset and all that, which is something I can compliment this game on. Even though, personally, I don't really mind having a couple alternate play styles in my games. Shit, I just fed him a red one. So that's what happens. He barfs up a bunch of the fish you've already fed him. The game lulled me into a full sense of security, so you gotta keep an eye out, make sure you're not feeding him any red ones, or it's gonna cause a lot of trouble. But they like to vary up the timing of when the fish will jump up, and so then your instincts will overtake you when you accidentally feed him a red one, so thankfully we got through that pretty quickly.
Okay, Spyro, just one more puzzle to go. I'll meet you over by the college stones for your final challenge.
Okay, so that's all we can do with this guy for now, so now we're gonna actually explore the level. And yeah, so basically what we do in terms of the structure of the level, we kill the tikis, and then the 4 men around here will break open the locks and allow you to proceed. You might notice that these guys look suspiciously similar to the monks we just met in the last level. That's another common thread in this game. Is, you know, as varied as the populace of Avalar is in the grand scheme of thing, they do like to recycle species between levels, which is something I find a little bit, I don't know. Later Spyro games don't do that. They have unique species for every level, so it's not a huge deal or anything, I'm just saying. Just an observation I wanted to make. Yeah, so this little guy here is gonna open up the lock, and I think that's a perfect place to stop for now. That was episode 2. Join me in the next episode. We'll continue exploring Idle Springs and maybe, I don't know, learn a little bit more about Avalar or some shit. Until next time, I'm Exo, and I'll see you guys in part 3.